How many of you find your relationship to be challenging? Now imagine being in a relationship 6 times in different marriages. Hi, my name is Laura Vallis, and I'm going to talk to you about a famous English monarch called King Henry VIII. I'm going to inform you who King Henry VIII and why he is famously known for. According to the Royal Museum in Greenwich, he was known for his love life and establishment of English church. He's also cited with establishing a Royal Navy and the creation of Anchorage and Dockyard. Now let's talk about who King Henry is. He was born in June 28, 1491. He is descendant of King Henry VII and Elizabeth of York. He has one elder brother named Arthur and two sisters, Mary and Margaret. He belongs in the Tudor house. It's combined with the York house and the Lancaster house. King Henry reigned in England and Ireland from 1509 to 1547. He is known as the Copper Nose. And the reason for this is because during his reign, he had silver coins that were actually made out of copper and had a thin layer of silver painted over them. He died in January 28, 1547. So I just talked to you about who King Henry was, just to give you a little bit of information about him. And we're going to talk about why he was very known for. He established a Royal Navy Army. He had 7 warships that he inherited from King Henry VII, and until his death, he was able to manage to build 53 warships. He also increased in number of soldiers. In 1545, King Henry the VIII deployed 5,000 soldiers to France. He is also known for building advanced warships like the Mary Rose. According to the Great Henry and his Navy, the Mary Rose was one of the most famous warships during the Tudor era. The warship saw battle in 1513 in France, in 1514 in Scotland, and then again in 1545 in France. He also was known to increase taxation during this time to support the Royal Navy and the soldiers. According to the University of Oxford, the English people at war in the age of King Henry VIII, often they confiscated the churches and resourced or introduced local taxation to meet these demands. Now that we talked about the Royal Navy, next we're going to talk about King Henry and his 6 wives. Who is King Henry's 6 wives? So at the top left-hand corner, we got Queen Catherine of Aragon. She was a Spanish princess, and she married King Henry VIII in 1509 to 1533. She was first married to King Henry VIII's oldest brother, Prince Arthur of Wales, but he died of the sweating sickness and she was left a widow. And King Henry VII and Elizabeth of York wanted him to have that alliance with Spain, so they asked King Henry VIII to marry his widow. And so then they produced multiple pregnancies and had a lot of stillborn. The only surviving child was Princess Mary of England. The second wife was Anne Boleyn. She was one of the noblest from a French family. Her reign did not last long. They were married from 1533 to 1536. She was beheaded for treason, adultery, incest, and witchcraft. So King Henry VIII sent for her execution and beheaded her. And the only surviving child they had was Elizabeth I. Then moving on to his third wife was Jane Seymour. In my belief, I think she was the most loved from King Henry VIII. She was able to produce a male heir that King Henry desperately wanted. But she died a few days during birth, and her child did not live at a very long age either. And next we got Anne of Cleves. She was married and divorced to King Henry VIII that same year. King Henry VIII was intrigued by her from her portraits, but she was not what she appeared. Next we got Catherine Howard. She was a young woman, and King Henry was taken by her youth and beauty. She was probably the least educated of all of his wives, but she was accused for infidelity and was accused for treason and beheaded at the Tower. Then we got Catherine Peer from 1543 till King Henry's death. And she was more of a companion to King Henry VIII. And she supported him in everything and raised his children. So now that I talked to you about King Henry's wives, and also interesting facts about his wives, and he's well known for was beheading two of his wives, Anne Boleyn and Catherine Howard. According to Ariana, they were beheaded, but Anne Boleyn received a more merciful death by the sword, while Catherine was subjected to the cruder of an axe. So how did King Henry VIII reinforce the face of England? Well, he annulled his marriage to Catherine of Aragon and broke away from the Roman Catholic Church. And he then formed his own church called the Church of England. He passed an act of supremacy, making him the ultimate ruler of the church. Although he broke away from the Catholic Church, he's still a believer and faithful to the Catholic Church. Doing so, the Church of England is also known as the Anglican Church. According to History.com editors, Church of England Anglican Church. While the church upholds many of the customs of Roman Catholicism, it also embraces the fundamentals and ideas adopted during the Protestant Reformation. So with all the reasons mentioned, King Henry VIII is famously known and remembered in the English history, making him the most recognizable monarch. In conclusion, we talked about who he was, how he built the Royal Navy, and his 6 wives, and also how he reformed the English church. The reasons mentioned is why he is famously known for. Now you tell me if you go throughout all these obstacles just to obtain a male son.